I'm a military working dog handler.
Group superintendent.
I'm an air traffic controller in the tower, and outside of work, I'm a Muay Thai instructor on base.
So life for me before the Air Force, I didn't really know where life was taking me. I mean, I was doing crazy stuff. I went to jail a few times, and then that's when I decided I had to turn my life around and just get away from all the trouble. Coming in the Air Force, it taught me how to respect everyone, how to talk to people, how to deal with everything. You can't just have everything you want. It's not the end of the road just because you have one little bump.
Life for me before I joined the Air Force, it was pretty slow. It wasn't really going anywhere. I came from a really small town. Everybody was overdosing on drugs. It seemed like they had that small town mindset where you just got stuck there, and I didn't want that. I was homeschooled, so I didn't really have a lot of friends, and I wanted more than that. I wanted to get outside that little town.
Life before the military, I came in at the age of 24. I worked insurance. I stopped working insurance in Atlanta when my mother got sick and moved back to Kentucky. I became a single parent, and I decided after my brother had been in the Air Force, he says, why don't you take a look at joining the Air Force? You could do some great things, and here I am today.
In my career field, there's definitely more guys.
You go in the door at a disadvantage because some men have had bad working relationships with women to where they would have to carry more of the workload. So basically we're stereotyped.
It's like, oh, she's a female. You can't lift this dog. It's 85-pound dog. You can't do this, you can't do that. And you pretty much have to show them that you can do everything they can do.
So I was a A1C in an environment where the males were accustomed to saying and doing what they ever wanted to do. Somebody had to say something. I mean, I walked into an environment where they had the rigid girl posters. I thought, okay, so if they can bring in their rigid posters, I can bring in my male American posters, they had police officers and firefighters, and I was told I had to take my posters down because it was offensive to the males, and so I said, well, your posters are offensive to me. So everything came down, and that was in the early 90s, so that's when everything started coming around to zero tolerance and how things were going to be changing. And so going back from when I first came in 1990 till now, women have more of a voice than what they used to have. Before we just suffered in silence, and now we say things.
There's a fine line that we have to do between being one of the guys and being accepted, and then not letting that get to the point where we're letting them disrespect us. So that's been, I think, the biggest challenge of my career so far, is just finding that fine line.
It's nothing you can tell me that's just like, oh, you're below the guys. Because you can do it, I can do it too.
With this career field and this job, you always have to have the motivation to go out and better your dogs, and she's always one of the persons to go out there and push to do training and better herself and her dog team.
If I get out there and train when they train, I'm out there, I'm catching dogs, I'm running with dogs, I'm sending my dog on you. We're just working. That's all we do.
She's better than most of the men we have, honestly.
Being told that anything you accomplish is because you're a woman, not because you can do it. You shouldn't be a leader because a guy should be a leader. I've heard all of it, and overcoming it, I just don't let it get to me. I know what I'm capable of, and it's just up to me to prove what I'm capable of.
If I could see into the future, Sergeant Hess would be a boss lady. She definitely embodies a strong woman, like what you think of when you think of a strong woman.
Here I sit today as a Chief Master Sergeant and as a female Chief Master Sergeant, but I didn't get here by myself. I got here because there was women before me that fought to get into the military.
Chief Master Sergeant is the highest ranking enlisted person. I think it's cool to see a woman in a senior leadership position who, like, she just fits that bill so well, and it just comes very naturally to her. So I think Chief is somebody to aspire to be like. Absolutely. I'm not just saying that. So.
These Chief Master Sergeant stripes are only being kept worn by me because it's for the next female chief coming in line.
Being a woman, to me, means being unstoppable. We can do things that guys can't. That's just a fact. Whether it's having kids or whatnot, like, we are programmed to do stuff differently than men. So we should never try to make ourselves be like men. We should try to be the best women that we can be, because our capabilities are endless as long as we put our minds to it.